This boy grew up to change my life. His name is Sahib, and pictured here, he's 9 to 10 years old. Now, he grew up in a central city in Iraq called Karbala, and at the time, Iraq was besieged in the most vicious of tyrannies. For 3 decades, Saddam Hussein ruled Iraq in the most ruthless way. It's a dictatorship that is so horrific that it exists in the lives of many even until this very moment. But in 1991, a revolution erupted. Young and old took to the streets to fight for what they believed in, for democracy, for justice. People from all over Iraq. We're talking Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims and Christians and Kurds, and all united. People that tended to be divided, they united under one umbrella, the umbrella of justice. And Sahib took part as well. He went onto the streets, wearing some old slippers, typical Arab dress, and carried a rifle, and fought for what he believed in, shoulder to shoulder with people that he thought he would never be in contact with. Now, he was a person that believed that unity was the spirit of justice. He believed that standing shoulder to shoulder with people is the only route to true peace and true justice. Ladies and gentlemen, he was imprisoned for what he did, for his crimes against the government. And he fled and fled away from the government that he fought against, and the country that he fought so hard to protect. He was tortured, imprisoned, and perceived dead by loads of his family and friends. Now, this is the country that he fought for. Today, 2014, Iraq is now essentially a pit of destruction, of death, of division. People being beheaded on the streets for what they believe in, for their name, for what politician they support. This is it. Ladies and gentlemen, I know at this point you're probably thinking, oh, Yousif, this is quite a depressing speech, isn't it? It's quite dark and downbeat, and you're right, it is. But I'm here not only to give problems, which there are many, but also to give solutions. I believe that unity is the spirit of justice. The concept of bringing people together is really what justice is about. Let us together stop looking at us and them. Let's stop looking at what makes us different, what divides us, and start looking at the common goals that we have, the common features, the things that brings us together. Now, how has this happened in real life? How has this practically been achieved? There are 3 main examples in history. 3 rather powerful examples where people looked past the differences that they had and looked at the things that they had in common. The first is this man. He had a dream, I'm sure you knew. He had a dream. Yeah, no, he's right, you're right. He deserves the gratitude that he has, the place in history that he has. Because he had a dream that cast aside the differences of people. It was no longer black and white. It was no longer our culture and your culture. We saw past that. And his dream consisted of a unity. And once people got that, once people got that in their heads, what happened? The civil rights movement. The end of institutionalized racism. That's a powerful thing. And that was brought through unity. The second example is 1991 Iraq, the revolution I mentioned earlier. People from all over Iraq united, people that really tended not to be together under one roof, under one idea. And the third is one closer to our time, the Egyptian revolution. Christians and Muslims stood together, shoulder to shoulder, really powerful images. This flag was painted by one of the protesters at the time. It shows such a powerful message in such a simple form. Unity above all, and peace will come up from it. At this point, you may be thinking, okay, fine, this is all very, okay, Yousif, you're a good boy. But what has this got to do with us? What can we do as individuals, as people? Because this all sounds like international politics and diplomacy. But I believe, I'm standing here to tell you, I think, that each one of us has a role to play in achieving this justice. Each one of us has a role to play. not just in this theatre, but in this world. First of all, we really need to start tackling racism. And that's not just like angry racism, casual racism, jokey racism, things that, we mention, we hear, that we pass over. We really need to start talking about that. We need, within our social circles, within our professional lives. Once we see it, we need to start looking and talking about it. Because racism divides, and we really need to stop dividing. We need to come together. The second is tackling ignorance. It's not only just about reading books and reading newspapers. That's good, and that builds our knowledge. But I believe that we should talk to each other. From people from different cultures, from different religions and different faiths and different ethnicities. Because the power of words is really the most amazing tool that we have. The power of words. Once we start talking to each other, we realize that we are beyond just images and beyond just words on a page. We are human. The thing that connects us. And thirdly, and arguably the most impactful, is start lobbying MPs. Let's stop looking at Westminster like a bubble. Let us work together with them. Lobby MPs, join campaigns. Because no matter how quiet each of our voices are alone, together we will make an almighty sound. Together we will make an almighty sound that is not just loud in sound, but oozes and drips with the spirit of justice. And that is what we hope to achieve, because the spirit of justice is about unity and bringing together. And those who, will call you crazy, and people that will call you naive, and people that will say, what you're saying isn't exactly realistic, it's very idealistic, it isn't going to work in the real world. I'd like them to listen to one quote. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. They are the ones who do. And I think that if each of us here, thinks that they can change the world and are crazy enough to think that this could happen, I believe it will. I believe it will. Because Sahib believed it could happen. Sahib thought that if he stood united with people from all over his country to fight a dictator, Saddam Hussein, that it would happen. He believed that. And many people called him crazy. Many people died calling him crazy. But he believed. And in the end, what happened in that revolution? Well, Saddam Hussein was found here, at the feet, in a literal hole, at the feet of justice, at the feet of what people believed in. Now that's quite powerful. That's quite a vivid image. This once dictator that stood on mansions, stood on nations of wealth, was found here because his people believed that what he was doing was wrong. The fact that he murdered was wrong. And how did that come about? Through unity. Looking past the differences. Sahib fled. And he, along the way, met a wife and had a son. And in the end, he found a glorious country, a brilliant country, I'm sure you know, Great Britain. And he realized that this was his home. 23 years later, here he is. And here is his wife. And that handsome guy in the middle is me. Sahib was my dad. He believed that unity was the spirit of justice. He believed it, he acted upon it, and in the end, he found justice and he found peace. I hope that we can all learn from something. We can all learn from this. So thank you, Dad, and thank you.